You know, sure, this time of year we hear a lot of new year, new me, but this author says to help yourself have the best year yet, we should be thinking new year, new resilience. Tanya Lauer is here to give us the steps to a new year, new resilience. Tanya, thanks for coming in.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
So I did say author, but you're also a resilience coach, right?
I'm a therapist and a counselor, and I really believe that we're all naturally resilient. So what I do is help people get into their true selves, find that strength that's always there. So that's what I do. I do focus on trauma and you know, how to find trauma resolution and come back.
And I think all of us can feel that, whether small or big trauma in our life. And we're talking about, you know, how to kind of do this resilience portion of it. And before I know you have 4 strategies, but before we go through those, when we say resilience, what do we really mean?
Well, resilience is the idea, instead of trying to delete our pain or get rid of trauma, which is impossible, is to actually encounter it and even embrace it and understand how we can be stronger and even better for it. And to really own that grace in ourselves and to see that in each other. So in some ways it's like insurance, knowing in the future also, if we have resilience, we can face hardships and come through the other side even better.
I love that. Even going forward, it kind of gives you a little bit more empowerment to be like, I can do this. I can, you know, whatever comes my way, I'm going to be able to tackle it. Yeah. So we have 4 strategies. Are these strategies on how to become better at resilience?
Yes, they kind of weave together. So it's you mentioned a key earlier. Yeah. It's kind of like one key with a lot of different ways to get in. But the first one is gratitude. And often it's really helpful to be able to focus on what we have. Trauma and stress, sometimes we really emphasize what we've lost, what's missing. And focusing on gratitude is really appreciating what's there, what we already have, and naming it and acknowledging it and talking about it and finding ways to express it.
And I know we come off of the holidays. We focus a little bit on gratitude around the holidays, but that's hard to do year round.
Right.
So a good focus on that. And then your second one is self-compassion.
Right. And for all of these strategies, it's really important to be practical and to find a daily practice. So even with gratitude, writing down gratitudes, using our phone.
Yeah.
We always have our phones with us. Talking to people about what we're grateful for. And that can help actually flow into compassion and self-compassion. And self-compassion is really important because sometimes difficult things happen to us and we can be really hard on ourselves. Yep. We can be our own worst perpetrators. And clients I've worked with will actually say things themselves that it would be considered really rude to say to someone else. So being aware of our self-talk and being able to change that track and mix it up and try to soften that tone and be kinder with our words. And the nice thing is if we do that, it really transfers to being kinder with our actions. So self-compassion can really help us build the relationship that we can't leave, the one with ourselves. And it's a way to have more compassion for other people. If we have a full resource, we have more to give. So part of being resilient is really living with ourselves differently and more compassionately.
Can I hit on that one more time, what you just said about what we would say to ourselves we would find very rude to say to others. That was very powerful what you said, and I think a lot of us can kind of be like, whoa, that was true. I love that self-compassion component. And then you also have hope, and I think that kind of can go many ways.
Yes. Yeah, and in some ways it sounds kind of warm and fuzzy talking about hope. It sounds nice. It's actually really hard. And especially under stress or when we feel devastated, having hope can seem impossible. So having hope is actually a practice, like all 4 of these strategies. Right. It's something to really lean into. And it can be threatening because sometimes it's going for something like a dream or a wish, and often there isn't any tangible evidence that that's going to happen. So it really requires courage. Yeah. And sometimes trauma or loss takes away our dreams and our hopes. But the practice is even if we have to change them and alter them, we keep hoping for something more, and we don't give up on hope.
And I know the last one is joy, and I think that some people find it almost to be guilty to feel joy during maybe a traumatic situation.
Yes.
So is that kind of what you're saying, like shedding light?
Yes, yeah, definitely. And also, a flip on that is a lot of trauma survivors I've worked with actually know how to have fun, and they know how to really be in the moment. They get it, that there's impermanence.
Yeah.
That this time that we have is precious, it's fleeting, and if we don't celebrate now, when are we going to? And we might miss our chance. So joy is something to focus on, and sometimes we're happy or joyful spontaneously, and that's wonderful. But sometimes we need to have a discipline of doing things that we love and that light us up. Like for me, I love hiking in the canyons around Tucson. I love spending time with my dogs and my son and dancing whenever I can. And I always try to find new things to fill me up and to help me feel better. And clients that I work with, that's actually part of the work, is to celebrate and to find joy and not let trauma wash that away.
Well, you've said a lot of powerful things right now that I'm kind of taking these nice little nuggets of everything, but I'm gonna let them know about how they can actually get their hands on your book, which has even more of this, and also reach you if they need any of that help. But Tanya, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
This was wonderful. To learn more about Tanya or her book, The Essence of Resilience, email resilience.lauer@gmail.com.